Welcome everyone to Your Our Unity, a show that wishes to spread a spirit of peace and love in the world, one conversation at a time.
None of that affects how you are going to change the world.
That's right.
No, it does not take one person to change the world, but it takes one person to believe in themselves.
Yes.
That they can make a difference.
I love
to
that.
Inspire others.
And that's why, for me, I try to make it my purpose now to try to help other people realize their self-worth.
Yeah.
Because it's so sad that so many of us, we get destroyed based off of what other people have to say.
Yeah.
I would say do it in your own way. Make sure you're doing it on your own accord and take a risk.
Go out there and live your life passionately. Believe in everything that you're doing and believe in the fact that you will accomplish every single goal. Welcome everyone to Your Our Unity, a show that wishes to spread a spirit of peace and love in the world, one conversation at a time. We want to encourage you to let the light in you so shine. It is so important in this dark world that we're living in right now that we become a beacon of hope, a beacon of love, a beacon of support for those of them out there who are dealing with such sadness and tragedy and trauma in their life. It is time that we let our light shine so that we can show the goodness and the God that is in us. It is so important that we let our light so shine so that we can blind the world with all that we have inside. I am your host, LaShawn Walker. I'd like to welcome you in. Please like, share, and follow. Let everyone know that we're on right now. Well, my beautiful Unity community, how are you doing? We just had Thanksgiving, my friends. Are you full? Did you eat a lot with all the turkey and the fixins? Most importantly, were you able to be filled with love and peace and joy from your family and your friends this holiday season? That's what I think is most important, is that we enjoy the people that are in our lives. It is so much going on in this world, and I think that it is so important right now that we shine so brightly, allow everyone to see the light within us. This time last year, I don't know if you guys remember, but I had to go rescue my aunt. She wasn't doing well physically, and fortunately, she ended up in the hospital, and she had to go into rehab afterwards. But I just went to visit this amazing woman this past Thanksgiving, and when I tell you, she looks amazing. She's in a new place. She looks great. She feels even better. And that's what I think is so important, that she took the time to heal herself. Also, in addition to the fact that she was so tired of hearing me get on her about what she's not doing, what she needs to do, and why she needs to do it. She took my advice and she allowed the healing of God to take place in her life. And now she looks and feels so good. And I'm so happy that I was able to spend this Thanksgiving with her, sharing in the greatness of God in her, instead of having to worry about her. So I told her, I was like, I am so amazed at how great you look, how happy you look, and how at peace you actually look. It was all about that light that I saw in her that was shining so bright. And then I realized that, yeah, we're in the holiday season. We got Christmas trees going up. We got lights outside. We got people buying gifts. There's a lot of traffic also. But it's about spreading love and joy right now. We're living in a time that it is so needed that we all come together, that we all allow ourselves to be that beacon of hope for others. And that's what I'm hoping this holiday season that you guys are taking the time to do. Are you being that light? Are you shining so brightly that others can see you illuminating the goodness inside of you? Are you supporting others? Are you being a hedge of protection even for others? Are you giving of yourself tirelessly? That's what I think that we all need at this time. We're going to talk about that today. I have some amazing guests here who are shining bright in their own right, gone through challenges, tribulations, had setbacks in their lives, but they did not let those things deter them from shining the light that God placed in them. The things that they knew they needed to do in order to show the world that they are still here. They are persevering, and they are making sure that they're going to be there for others as well who are going through some things. So today, the title of the show is The Light in You. And we'll be speaking with the beautiful Racquel
Chariah.
Chariah. She is a devoted Christian, loving wife, and proud mother of 3 sons, residing in Queens, New York. Her journey of faith and resilience began in 2014 when she was diagnosed with stage 4 breast cancer, a life-altering moment that inspired her passion for advocacy and empowerment. Over the past decade, Racquel has served as PTA president and executive director for 2 nonprofits, championing initiatives to uplift women and girls worldwide, particularly those impacted by domestic violence and human trafficking. In 2024, she launched her consulting company, Let Your Light So Shine, where she helps leaders and entrepreneurs in underserved communities unlock their potential to achieve success, sustainability, and social impact. Racquel's commitment extends to fostering diversity and inclusion. She founded a thriving DEI committee after George Floyd's death, exemplifying her dedication to representation and social justice. A recent author and board member of the Stephen Spectrum Project, Racquel is also a delegate for the Queens General Assembly and was named one of Long Island's top 50 women in business. Despite her many accomplishments, Racquel's greatest joy is building meaningful relationships and leaving every person she meets better than she found them. And we also have here the beautiful Ashley Russell. She is a passionate mentor, educator, and leader who has transformed her life experiences into a mission to inspire and uplift others. Overcoming anxiety, depression, and a challenging start in life, she found strength through faith and the guidance of loving mentors. Loving mentors. Ultimately earning a summa cum laude degree in communications. Dedicated to using her God-given gifts for ministry, Ashley leads her church drama and youth ministries, spreading messages of love, unity, and purpose. Since 2021, she has worked as a substitute teacher with the NYC DEO and spearheading an after-school musical theater program to empower young minds. Ashley's life work is to pay it forward, the mentorship and encouragement that changed her life, helping this generation realizing their full potential. So please help me welcome Racquel and Ashley. Welcome, ladies.
Thank you. It's so good to be here. Thank you for having us.
It's so good to have you here. It's been, oh my God, so long since I asked you. And I'm so glad that you were able to finally bless the You're Our Unity stage with your presence to share with us how important it is, especially right now, for us to shine our light so brightly on the world, which is exactly what you guys have been doing. So I appreciate you guys so much for being here. I really do. Racquel, I met probably about 2 years ago when I was hosting my first Prom Just Drive. And you, oh my God, you were so important in making sure that that event came off without a hitch. And your relationship with Thrive Cosmetics was so important and needed for those young ladies to feel like they were just powerful as they are, you know? Yes, and confident, exactly. So thank you so much. Well, we're here today, my friends, talking about the light in you. And I wonder if you realize how much light you actually have within yourself. And this beautiful woman who's been through some things, as you heard in the bio, you've been through breast cancer, you've worked with nonprofits, you've experienced some things in your life. Tell me why this moment right here of us shining our light is so important.
I always like to ask the other question, why not?
Why not?
Yeah.
Yes.
So I think for me, going through the last 10 years of trials, health crisis, tribulations, it was necessary to bring me to this season of my life. And allowed me to now find the greater purpose in all that I was able to experience, the support and love that rallied around me. It just makes sense to give back and pay it forward. And that's been my life's focus for the last 10 years, and I hope for the rest of my life. So it is very important to give back to the world.
I love that. I love that. And you as well, Ashley. You know, I read, you know, you've went through anxiety and depression, just trying to figure out who you are, and I'm sure your purpose in life as well. Why is it so important right now in this moment that we all shine, since you found your light with the world?
Well, in the midst of going through certain situations, you don't see an end. You just see the problem. And of course, the years that I was going through the anxiety and battling with all these issues, I never saw an end to it, because it just felt like it would be continuous. But the truth is, once you're given that opportunity to be able to speak to someone, or you see someone battling through the same thing, which often is the case for me working with young people, it's almost like I was thrusted into the position to have to help. Like, you just can't run away from seeing someone going through the very same thing you were going through, and it's almost like the Lord prepared me to deal with people's issues, especially young people, because I battled that majority of my life. And I think, especially after the pandemic and everything, young people, they really have been struggling with a lot, and oftentimes it's very difficult to put into words what they're battling with. And so obviously having an outlet with drama and the arts has given them the opportunity to be able to express themselves, and I'm just really grateful for the platform to be able to do so.
Yeah, I love that, and I think it is important. And as you mentioned, it's the why not, you know? Why not let that light shine that, you know, God put in you and placed in you, not only for you to illuminate the world, but so that you can bring others into that light. And I find, you know, with what I've experienced, is that people are afraid to shine. You know what I mean? They really prefer sometimes to hide in that darkness. And I think it is so important that they realize what they have inside of themselves, so that they can be that bright beacon of hope to others, because that's what it looks like. You look like hope, you know what I mean? From the challenges and the things that you've been through. I'm sure it resonated with so many, but you had to show your light first in order for them to see that they could probably get through it too. So that's beautiful. Well, let me ask you, can you share a pivotal moment in your journey when you realized the importance for you to start letting your light shine?
You know, during my diagnosis and my battle, you hit the nail on the head just now. I never knew people were watching. And it's so many times we experience certain things, or we're living our life and we are not really thinking, oh, we're under a microscope. But people are watching. It's not about how you fall. It's about, what do you do when you fall? How do you pick yourself up? Who's around you to help hold your hand and pick you up from that, right? And one of the most important testimonials to me was someone else was diagnosed. And she said to me, I saw you going through what you had to go through. You were bald from chemo, burnt from radiation, but you never missed a day of volunteering in the school. 10 years, and I never missed a day at school. And she said to me, when I saw you go through that, and I saw you still showing up for these children on a daily basis and the families, and you never gave up. She said, when I was diagnosed, I said, well, if she can do it, I can too. So that was my moment of recognizing the power in our actions, in our beliefs, in how we respond to things. I think, again, at the end of the day, we're put here to serve people. And for me, when I heard that, I was like, okay, that's what I got to do. And continue doing it. You know what I mean? I love that. And what about you, Ashley? What was that pivotal moment that kind of brought out your light even brighter?
Oh, wow. Where do I begin? So for me, after the years of battling anxiety and just all the depression and all these things, I had acquired a lot of stress weight. And I decided to make a decision to say, you know what, this weight, I can't carry it because it's physically and mentally and spiritually weighing me down.
Right.
So I began a process of losing weight, and I lost 100 pounds.
Wow.
And it was almost like I chiseled off all the fear and the doubt and all these different things, because then I was able to step outside of myself and say, wow, there's people around me who are going through things, and I really need to be a help.
Right.
And God opened up doors for me to be able to work with children in summer camps. And at first I thought, oh, it's just drama. It's just going to be working in theater. But then when we have our circle time, the young people would then start to talk about, like, well, I'm going through this, I'm battling that. And it's just like, wow, you never know until you give someone the opportunity to speak
Right.
what they're going through.
Right.
So once that time in my life had passed, I was then able to help these young people those summers. And now it's been for 3 or 4 summers now. I'm able to do this, and I'm just, I'm really grateful for it.
I think
Yeah.
that's amazing. And let's backtrack for a second, ladies and gentlemen. She said she lost 100 pounds. And I know that was you chiseling away everything that you was holding on to and everything that was keeping you weighed down and keeping you in that darkness. How did you finally feel? Because now we're talking about the actual weight. How did that feel to see yourself in that new light? Did it just even change how you felt about yourself physically as well as emotionally?
Absolutely. So I went through the process of, it's called the VSG surgery. And so it's supposed to lead to an extreme weight loss. Oftentimes people don't reach that because they fall off or whatever it is. But I said, God, I really need you to help me get to that goal so I can feel my best self. And when I did reach that goal, I barely recognized myself in the mirror in every way, physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually. And it was like being inside of a shell of someone I didn't know anymore.
Yeah. No, I could imagine. And finally revealing who God created and wanted you to be from the very beginning before all of that took over your life. So that is beautiful. I congratulate you. I really do. I'm going to keep uplifting you because I know it's a battle, girl. I've been, dealing with the up and down and the yo-yo and all of that. But yeah, it's a process. You got to keep working at it. But as beautiful as you look right now, I couldn't even imagine 100 pounds on you. I couldn't. I really couldn't. Well, let me ask you, in your respective fields, how do you balance professional growth with staying true to your personal values and your purpose?
That is something you have to deal with every day. It's an ongoing, daily process. And I think, especially in the world today, you have to stay true to who you are. You have to stay true to the values, the upbringings, the blessings that you have also from your culture and your family. I'm from Trinidad, so Caribbean culture.
Could you tell from the accent, ladies and gentlemen? Okay.
Should I speak Trinidad?
Yeah, I love it. Speak it to the people, dumb.
Yes. But once you stay grounded with that, and you stay grounded with the core values of how you were raised and who you are meant to be in this world, especially when we have values of faith, the Christian faith, and understanding that we are to reflect the characteristics of God. And how do we do that? It's a daily check, right? Positioning yourself to treat people with kindness, to love people, but to also give of yourself freely. And I think for me, how I stay grounded is I stay rooted in the Word. I stay rooted by my family and friends that just circle around me and uplift me, just like you are doing to all of your guests and to your community. And I think that is really important, to have that good foundation around you that really helps you recognize what you are putting out there into the world. For me, it's very important that I stay true to my values.
I love that. That's transparency, is being real, and that's actually what people gravitate towards is your realness. And that's why I think you're so beautiful in who you are, but more so in what you stand for. You know what I mean? I think that is just a delight in what's so necessarily needed right now. And what about you, Ashley? Because I know that you're spiritually grounded. Racquel just had a beautiful event where she hosted the launch of her brand new business, which we'll get into in a moment. But Ashley did a wonderful Christian, what is it called? Christian dance, interpretation. What is it? What's it called?
Sure, like liturgical dance or inspirational dance, absolutely.
I love it. I love it. How do you balance also, you know, your personal growth and the things that you're doing in personal values and purpose?
Well, like Racquel said, it's the foundation of faith for sure. Just being close to God and staying close to His presence, being in prayer, reading the Word daily, not straying from it. It really is everything. It's the fuel, and it's the basically our everything. It is the thing that guides us throughout life, and there's no way I can separate that from my daily life, whether I'm working with young people, whether I'm helping someone, whatever it is. It's kind of the philosophy for living, to do unto others as I would like them to do unto me, to put God above everything, and to love, and to just make sure that I'm definitely putting that forward more than anything else.
Right. I think that's important. Well, I know that you guys, you know, obviously, as I just mentioned, are very spiritually grounded. I do talk about spirituality here on the show, but I know that there's a lot of people out there that don't necessarily believe, but still desire the same things. You know, they still want to shine that light. They still want to be a beacon of hope. They still want to be the best that they can be. They just don't hold to anyone bigger than themselves. What are your suggestions on how you can still be that transparent person, be that real person, without having the core of God in you?
It might be difficult for some. I'm not going to lie, right? Because there are so many different variations of what's out there in the world and what people can believe and choose not to believe in. My mother always taught me, never argue about politics or religion.
Right. Yes.
Right? Because the hope that you're talking about, sometimes it's that hope that gets people through whatever circumstance they're dealing with, right? And it would be a shame to take that away from someone and have it be a detriment to them in any way. So again, it goes back to my core values. What do I do in a situation like that? I'm respectful. I do things with integrity and love and honesty. And while I believe in my God, right, and I believe in Christ, and if someone chooses not to do that, that's okay. That is my brother or my sister in this world. And it's about still supporting them. It's about still giving them morsels of, you know, tangible things that they can, maybe lessons or things that they can hold on to, or life experiences. You keep talking, you know, you keep sharing about how we come together, and sometimes your circumstance, just by her speaking about it, we can be in the same room and I wouldn't know, but until she doesn't share it, it might help me or help someone else get through that circumstance. And it takes you out of the isolation, and it brings you to that place and that opportunity and space to really bask in hope. And that's what I think a lot of people may miss the mark. You know, hope comes in all shapes and forms. And it might just be you walking on the street and saying hello to someone who is struggling with depression or suicide or something, a smile on your face. In the Caribbean, you dare not pass somebody
without saying hi,
morning, auntie, hello, grandma, you know, like. So again, and my boys, they're American, but they are Trini to the bone. They are raised that way. So again, I think it's just a matter of what we can control, right? So that's kind of what I rely on.
I like that, because that's what I feel. I know a lot of people who don't believe, but they're always like, "Oh my God, you're such a ray of sunshine! Like you're always so upbeat and excited, and all of these things." And they question like how I'm able to do it, and I can only answer it because of the God in me. So if I show up, and even though you don't believe, then know that I'm getting it from somewhere. It's not just something that I'm making up or coming up with myself. What do you feel about that?
It's like you took the words out of my mouth. Like, there's something that shows without even having to say, hey, do you believe in this? You know what I mean? Because like when you have God in you, it just irradiates.
Yes.
You know, it's in your speech, it's in your character, it's in how you approach people. It's like Racquel is just like, in meeting Racquel, I've seen her just be this loving, very selfless person that always puts
Yes.
others before her. That will make someone say, well, what is that about you?
Yes.
You know, that's something that stands out. So it doesn't even have to be, oh, I need to say this or that or press a person. It's about being loving.
Yes.
And without trying to be forceful.
Yeah, no, I
Yeah.
agree. I agree. Well, as I mentioned, it's all about letting your light so shine. This beautiful young lady just started an organization called just that, Let Your Light So Shine. So, Racquel, as the founder of Let Your Light So Shine, how do you empower entrepreneurs to discover and exemplify their unique strengths? But first, tell us exactly what your Our Light So Shine is and how did you come up with it?
Absolutely. It was actually placed upon my heart 10 years ago.
Mm.
When I was diagnosed with breast cancer, my very first walk that my school community did for me,
Okay.
so 66, we got it together, a team, to do the breast cancer walk. And on the shirt, that was the slogan,
Right.
Let Your Light Shine, because it was something that just, it was a scripture at the time, and I was like, yeah, let's use this,
Yes.
you know, and I used that. So throughout the last 10 years, in just being myself, in being a support to every person, entity, and just like letting that light shine,
Yeah.
when it came time to naming my company, it was like, God was like, you have to ask. Let your light so shine.
Didn't I already show you?
Yes. And I got a confirmation of the name. I had just, decided on the name, reached out to, the business entities to secure the name. And I was asked to go to a nonprofit in Long Island to support them with an event.
Okay.
And I walked through the door, and the minute I walked through the door, right on the top shelf, they had Let Your Light So Shine.
Wow.
So I was like,
Confirmation.
there we go.
Yes.
but it's important for the name of my company to represent who I am
Right.
and what I stand for. Faith, family, friends, and I hope that's a trifecta that's bundled in that name.
Right.
So that's where the name came from.
I love
And in order for me to help people, I have to show them that they have greatness inside of them. It's already there. Your strength, your confidence, everything is already there. It's just about bringing people into an opportunity where they can recognize it, where they can celebrate it, and where they can use it to leave a mark on this world and leave a legacy of their own.
I love it. I love it. Well, your event was amazing. You had some powerful, dynamic women
Yes.
in the building. Ashley as well, and I understand she's part of the organization as well.
Yes.
So tell me, how do you, how is it going to, what was my question? For empower entrepreneurs to discover and amplify their unique gifts.
So one of the most important components of that event that I wanted for the people attending to experience that day was that what you shared earlier. It's not about me. At the end of the day, it's about the people that I'm here to help, that I'm here to give resources to, that I'm here to make the connections for. Someone asked me just recently, I was sharing with Ashley, what gives me the most joy, right? In all of my skill sets, bringing people together, being that connector. And I'm in so many networking circles and circles, like it's always like, oh, you need this? Racquel knows somebody. Racquel knows somebody that knows somebody that knows somebody. So it's because I build relationships. It's not about a contact in my phone or it's somebody I need something for. It's a living, breathing relationship. So for that particular event, I wanted to be able, one, to celebrate my survivorship of 10 years.
Yes.
To launch my business, but to also celebrate every single woman in that space, because the percentage of women that are now becoming female entrepreneurs or, working for major organizations where they're making a mark and a legacy in this world, that's what I'm there for. At the end of the day, I want to be able to say, LaShawn does this in her community, Ashley does this, how do we work together and make an even greater impact?
Yes.
And that's what I wanted to accomplish with that event. It was about showcasing and highlighting the skill set, the gifts, and the abilities of these women who are just amazing in their own right. And all I am is the glue, I guess, or the
Yes.
pivot or the connector that just kind of, let's get together and do this.
And that's exactly what you did. Let me tell you something. I walked into that event and immediately, obviously, we greeted each other. We loved on each other for a moment. And then all of a sudden, she was like, come here. I know exactly where I want you to sit. And I sat next to these amazing women. And yes, we connected, we bonded, we're building together. You know what I mean? It's like she knew exactly who to connect you with in order for you to also grow and be empowered. You know what I mean? And I think that is an innate quality that not too many people actually have, but this fabulous woman right here, she owns it. She is the light of it. And it was brilliant how you set it up. It really, really was. Because it wasn't just a bunch of women coming together and you're just sitting there and you know, you're waiting to be introduced to the person or you're waiting to hear them speak and you learn a little bit about them. You literally saw from the side eye. It wasn't even like, okay, I'm going to have a place set here for you and then you're going to sit here. It was, you walk in the building, I see this person on the side and this is the person that you need to speak to. And I think that is so unbelievable. It is really a talent that you have, you know what I mean? And the fact that she knows so many people that are doing so many things. I mean, we are a world right now of women entrepreneurs. We are in a time that women are actually pursuing their dreams. Long gone, fellas, are the days that we sitting at home trying to cook a meal, you know what I mean? We are now out there literally chasing our purpose and we're doing it with passion. And I think that's exactly what you exemplify. And I love that you're trying to connect other women so that they can do the same. Let their light shine in their moment, you know?
And then again, in this world, we know that resources are not shared equitably.
Yes.
And that is where my heart lies.
Right.
It's for being the voice for the voiceless. It's
Yes.
being that bridge to make sure that people get connected to what they need. Because sometimes there's a barrel full of that and no one knows, and it just takes someone, you know, pointing in the right direction or making that connection. And with female entrepreneurship, I mean, we make up more than 50% of the economic power of this world.
Yes.
So yes,
I think
we are
that's
going
amazing.
to let people's lights
Well,
shine.
what does Let Your Light So Shine offer?
So currently I'm consulting,
Okay.
coaching, mentorship, but I do have a knack for pulling some fabulous events.
Yes, she does.
Ladies' nights and female empowerment events. But through all of that, it's really, it's not a out of the box kind of business. It's more so a personalized, special hand touch, build something or help someone develop something that is just unique to what you need.
Right.
So there might be an entrepreneur who is starting a catering business and she just doesn't know where to start. Or it might be a circumstance where she's opening a catering business because she knows how to cook so well,
Right.
but she's getting out of her domestic violence situation.
Okay.
Right? So she needs additional resources.
Right.
So again, it's the experience and the expertise that I'm bringing to the table to design unique packages for whether it's a nonprofit organization that just might need, hey, can you help me expand my volunteer base? You know, and they don't know how to do so.
Right.
Can you help me design, you know, a marketing strategy or a strategic plan? For an entrepreneur, it might be, can you connect me to grants? You know, things like that. So it's very tailored, personally tailored, and I think that's what's going to differentiate me.
Right.
It's that personalized approach that, you know, allows people to be seen and heard, but for their own value,
love
not
that.
so much.
I
you
didn't
know.
realize that. So it's for any entrepreneur in any field, in any business, in anything, and you'll be able to help them, guide
Correct.
them. I love
Yeah.
that. I love that.
And so many times, even nonprofit organizations that have been around for many, many years, they just don't have the resources to put the business structure into place,
Right,
a
right.
solid foundation,
Right.
and sometimes it's just the human resources
Yeah.
that's more valuable than sometimes the bottom line.
Right.
Because you can get the bottom line, but if you don't have the human resources to help you do so, it's just like,
I get it.
you know.
Let me ask you, I mean, knowing that you're doing this work, did you notice that there was a need for
Yes.
that? You did?
Yes.
Okay.
I've spent 10 years,
Okay.
you know, and for the last 10 years, it's not only in the nonprofit world, but the advocacy as a PTA president in my
Right.
community. But again, recognizing that back to the resources, it's the resources that people don't know about.
Right.
There's checklists, there's systems that people don't use and don't put into place.
Yeah.
There are grants, there are, you know, so many different components
Right.
to running a business like a nonprofit at the end of the day.
Right.
So I saw that need. I saw the lack of communication, the lack of inclusion.
Yes.
And sometimes with mission driven work, everyone is so passionate, and you know, all hats off to you, you know,
Right.
because the missions are there to make the world a better place. But in mission driven work, that's where you need the most
Yeah.
resources.
Yeah.
And it's a shame that in our country that nonprofits don't have the resources at their fingertips the way, because they're doing the boots on the ground work.
Right.
You know, you're feeding the homeless, you're helping, you know, children in need, you're helping, you know, women survive domestic violence and human trafficking. You're working with the mayor's office and NYPD, and you don't have the resources.
Yes, nor the proper foundation in
Correct.
place as well. People do a
Yes.
lot of things blind. I mean, I'm even guilty of that.
Yeah.
Just, this is what I want to do, this is my passion, and I'm just going to figure out how to make it happen. But then you do end up hitting a roadblock. You know what I mean? And if you don't start bringing more in versus what you're putting out, it's going to be a detriment to the business. And that is why a lot of businesses fail within the first 3 to 5 years. So
Yes,
I
yes.
totally get that. That
Yeah.
is wonderful. Well, we have to definitely look her up. And you women entrepreneurs out there, please, once we show her information later, look her up and just seek out her resources and her assistance in helping you build your business. And Ashley, your work in education and ministry is so impactful. How do you encourage the young people you mentor to find their light and share it with others?
Well, the funny thing is that oftentimes I find like when you're overcoming something or struggling with something, the light is deep within that. Because I would have never thought that, first off, me just sitting here talking, opening my mouth and speaking is a miracle, because when I was a kid, I was the quietest kid in the room, the shyest kid in the room, the one who would never want to be, oh no, don't talk to me, don't pick me for the game or whatever it is, I'll just sit in the corner and mind my business. But then something forced me and pushed me to come out of that shell, and little did I know it was so necessary. So the truth is, we can't write off the child who's the quiet kid, the shy kid, the one who seems like they're just quiet, they don't really have a voice. They do have a voice. And oftentimes it's something that really needs to be heard. And so it's just really about just giving them that opportunity to be able to share what really is they're passionate about, and giving them a listening ear.
Right.
You know, I think that's just what is really needed.
I love that. I love that. I know that you're working with Racquel in the organization. Tell us a little about what your role will be, and this podcast that I hear you guys are starting that we need to subscribe to YouTube for. Share with me a little about what your role will be.
Well, first off, just when Racquel and I had linked up at church, it was just a real blessing. It was like, you know, I was watching this woman who was doing so much, and I was like, oh, well, you know, that's a blessing, that's great. And then we just became friends and acquainted, and she just pulled me on, like, no, when we're doing something, I want you to be a part of this. Like, I just want you to have a hand in on it. So anything creatively that she needs my help with, I'm always there, no matter what it is, to be a help. But as far as this podcast, so Racquel has this really interesting idea for us to do a podcast just from the perspective of two women who are lovers of Christ, and we're just going to have conversations.
I love it.
Yeah.
All right, you want to expound on that a little?
Sure. She's being very, very.
Yes, well, I'm saying she just said she don't really like to speak too much, so we're lucky we got that out of her.
Yeah. No, Ashley has played a very important role in my life and in my family's life in the last 2 years. Ashley runs the youth ministry.
Well,
and
drama.
The drama ministry, I'm sorry, but which is part of the youth ministry. And lo and behold, got my sons to be in the play
Wow.
at church.
Boys, three boys, yes.
And the husband too.
Oh, wow.
And I asked them, the day before, hey, do you guys want to be in the play? They're looking for volunteers. No. Next day, Ashley calls them, and they're the starting the show.
God.
But Ashley pulled off such an amazing production, and that just like really hit me here. And then as I started doing events like the galas at the organizations I worked for,
Right.
the galas, and we hosted retreats and things like that, something just kept saying, bring Ashley in, bring Ashley in. And I brought Ashley in to even start doing the videography. That's why, the creative team, my creative team here. And then she performed a dance
Oh, wow.
that spoke to the rise and rescue of women, relating to domestic violence.
Right.
And there was not a dry eye in the room. Even Donovan Richards, the Queensborough president, he
Wow.
was just, gasping at how powerful it was to show struggles and trials and tribulations and pain and hope and sadness and joy through dance.
Yes.
So every time I host something or any space that I'm in, I'm always looking for who in that room needs to be impacted.
Right.
So I have a team that is beyond, a volunteer team for now, but my hope is to also become an employer.
Yes.
And to make sure that these women are for their gifts and their talents, that they are, supported in that way,
Yes.
because they support me. And at the end of the day, oh my gosh, I have a dream. I have a dream to have just women working and getting paid for their talents and gifts like no other, because everyone has something. Everyone has something. And that's what, Ashley has meant to me and my company. And when you saw her perform at the launch event,
It was amazing.
it was just another opportunity to say, here's what we can do. It's not just an event. It is an impact storytelling opportunity where somebody in that room's that their life needs to be changed for
Yes.
whatever reason.
Yes.
And I do not take lightly to the work that I do. I pray. You said earlier, like, I just know who needs to sit where to. All of that comes from above. It's get LaShawn to sit next to Patrice, not knowing, things like that. So
I love that. So tell us a little about the podcast and the idea and the vision for it.
So Ashley and I, we literally sit like this and have conversations. We just had a 40-minute drive in the car that should have been recorded as a podcast.
Wow.
So we started having these really profound, deep conversations about faith, family, and friends, and about everything that not just women deal with, but men also, right? Because we live in a world where men are taught not to show their emotions, not to deal with it.
Yep.
And, coming again from a Caribbean culture, even women, like, if you struggle with something, what? Go wash some dishes. You'll get over it.
You'll get over it. Thank you. Go say a prayer. Go in the bathroom.
Yeah, but it's a different world.
Yeah.
And while prayer and, all of that is still vital to us, the podcast is really about conversating about the things we deal with every day and bringing in different perspectives and lens. Like we already have guests lined up. I have somebody who's 20-something years old, and she's like, Racquel, I want to bring that perspective when you talk about this topic.
Right.
Because, again, it's not about Ashley and I, but it's when we get together, what can happen because of that.
Yes.
So the show is called The Rock and Ash. The Rock and Ash.
Yes, the Rock and Ash
Podcast.
podcast.
Again, as you can tell from our spiritual and faith background, but again, because we want to leave that rock solid impact. And it'll be conversations similar, like we've had conversations, you and I, about life altering things and issues. So many women, and again, I say this, not just women, but because we are women, so many women are dealing with things that they have to shelter or hold inside. And you put women in a room together talking about something, and then somebody gets help. You know, someone realizes they're not alone. You know, they don't have to carry this burden all alone. So we are hoping these conversations not only educate, not only amplify the voices that need to be, but also gives rise to things that can be not as detrimental. Just because you have a sisterhood. You know, and at the end of the day, we as women, we have to leave behind enough of a legacy for the younger generation to hold on to something and climb their way out of this negativity.
That's exactly bringing the truth to the forefront, because that's really what it is. It's bringing the truth of you, who you are, what you feel, what you think, and what you believe to the forefront, and letting others hear it so that they can be inspired, encouraged, and just hopefully helped by it. You know what I mean? And that's what's important. I love that. Well, let me ask you, what advice would you give to someone who feels their light has been dimmed by challenges and setbacks in their life? Go ahead, Ashley. You should.
You shook your head, Chris.
Well, I mean, always, as we've been saying a lot, being transparent, just thinking about my own life. If I wasn't given the opportunity to be able to speak to someone and say, hey, you know, I'm battling through this, going through that, I would feel trapped forever. So it's not so much about what you're going through that you need to just rest in that and feel like that's how it's going to be forever. We have to see and know that there's always a light at the end of the tunnel, that whatever you dream, whatever you have a passion for, you just have to take that first step, that first leap of faith, and just say, you know what, even though I'm going through this, I'm going to take a step forward, because every leap of faith I've ever taken in my life has led to unimaginable things. The fact that I was able to work for the Department of Education, I have nothing in my former background that should have ever brought me to that. I signed up for a position, and it was God opened up that door, and it was a miracle. And I just say that people just really need to know that if you're struggling with something, you don't have to see that as your ending. It's really a beginning, a birthplace, a foundation for taking all those experiences and helping someone one day with it.
Yeah, that is so true.
And I'll say it in a maybe a even simpler, humbler way. You know, when you think about a light, right? Whether it's a candle, you know, wick or lights. What happens if you unplug it and you plug it back in? It's still lit. Right? So for those of you who are struggling with your light not being where it should be, or you feel that it's dimmed, just remember it can rise again. Right? It's not extinguished forever. So something a spark can light that, you know, that light again, and you can, you know, fan the flames and burn for the world to see. Or you can plug it back. And sometimes we need to unplug.
Yes, we do.
We do need that rest and recharge period.
You're right.
So just yesterday, in one of my leadership programs, you know, there was a new mom, and she's like, you know, I feel like I'm, you know, all over the place, and then but it's okay to rest. And that's what we have to teach as well. It's okay to rest and take care of your mind, body, and soul. You know, being a CEO and founder, someone joked with me the other day and said, be a CEO and founder of your entire day. Go to the gym, take care of your family, do the work that you have to do, you know, help people, but let it be, you know, a balance, so to speak. And I know there's a lot of talk out there, conversations. You can't juggle it all. You can't balance it. Yes, you can. You just have to find your balance. And you said something very important. Don't compare. Don't compare yourself to others. You are your own unique self. You are your own unique being. Your light will shine differently than mine. And you just have to hold on to that. And you'll get through it. You will get through it.
I felt that the last couple of weeks. I was sick with the flu. I had been going and running and being a part of everything and helping everybody. And it got to be exhausting, but I didn't allow myself to see that. So I did decide to unplug, you know, and still shining my light, still showing up, but not doing it in a way that it was going to be a detriment to me. So you're right, you do need to unplug sometimes, but just learn how to balance all of that out. You still want to continue in your drive and your purpose and your dreams, but do it in a healthy and a balanced way. So I think that's important. Well, we're winding down in time. So I just want to ask the last question to you young ladies. What legacy do you hope to leave behind? And I know you briefly spoke about it a minute ago, but what legacy do you hope to leave behind through your work? And how does it reflect the light you bring to the world? And let's try to do this in like 30, 40 seconds.
Sure. It's very simple for me. I want to leave people better than I met them, and I'm going to stand by that. Everyone deserves an opportunity to shine.
Yes.
And that, for me, is leaving that legacy of the people that I have created, this group, this amazing group of family and friends who are like family and sisterhood. So that legacy is about doing for others and leaving the world a better place. And I said this to my boys the other day too. Like, I hope that when I'm long gone, that you live and breathe the same legacy of helping people in the world, because that's what we're here for.
Yeah, that's really what we are here for. What about you, Ashley?
More than anything, I just really want this generation to have their voices heard. And so I want to create platforms for young people to really know that their voices matter and that they need to be heard. And no matter what they're going through, whatever it is, that for them to just know that they will be okay. And so whatever it takes to do that.
Yes, and that's important as well, is that we let our youth know that we are there for them, that we support them in all that they wish to accomplish, and that we show them what that looks like, you know what I mean, and hold their hands when needed. I'd like to thank you amazing ladies for being here. Racquel, say your last name for me again.
Racquel Chariah.
Chariah. Oh my God, I butchered her name, and you guys know I do it all the time. And Ashley Russell, thank you so much. You have just been a light of hope and passion and love, and I so appreciate you. And I really hope that you guys will come back, especially when that podcast is up and running.
Oh, yeah.
And I hope to be a guest too one day.
You will.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
for having us.
Thank you
No
so much.
problem. Thank you. So we're going to get real quick to the Dare to Be You. And it is dare to be unapologetically you. Let your light so shine that it ignites hope, inspires change, and illuminates the beauty in everyone around you. Your authenticity is your superpower. Embrace it and transform the world. And that's exactly what these beautiful young ladies have shared with us today. That we need to be unapologetically ourselves. We need to walk in the light that God has bestowed upon us, but more importantly, we need to share that with the world. We need people to see that we are who we are, and we're walking in that light of love and peace and hope because of what we've been given from our Father. In addition to that, we need to make sure that we are walking every single day, sharing it with the ones that we love, but also contributing to the betterment of this world. It is a time right now when it's more important than ever that everyone is living their best life, that they are waking up happy and joyful, seeing the goodness in every single day that they're blessed to see, and more importantly, living out the passions and the dreams in their heart. And for our youth out there, we need to encourage them. We need to be their mentors. We need to show them not television and social media is going to raise them, but the family that loves and cares for them, and those individuals out there who are working in all of these organizations have their back in anything that they wish to accomplish. So I'd like to thank again these amazing ladies for being here. We're going to show their information. This is Racquel
Chariah.
Oh my God, her organization, Let Your Light So Shine. You can reach her there, and there's her phone number and her email address. And we're going to let our light so shine with Miss Ashley Russell as well. Please reach out to these young, lovely ladies. Oh, real quick, we wanted to share your toy drive that you have going on. So
Yes.
talk about that for like 20 seconds. What's going on?
Sure. So this is the inaugural toy drive for the Let Your Light So Shine organization. We have chosen the Cottontail Corner as the beneficiary. She is a domestic violence survivor, Elizabeth, and she helps children through an educational system that's non-conventional, children of domestic violence survivors and victims. So they will receive the toys. I've partnered with St. John's University and St. John's Harmony Initiative.
Excellent.
And we'll be distributing the toys to those children.
I love
So if
it.
you want to help,
Yes,
please do.
contact Racquel.
Yes, please do.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you so much for tuning in to another episode of Your Our Unity. Please remember that peace and love is in the palm of our hands. So let's go out there and be some love, share some love, and just give some love. We'll see you next week. And in the meantime, you have a wonderful night. Thank you so much,
you.
ladies. I love you.
Bye, everyone.